So right now, small caps are starting to return. Stocks are starting to look more and more green as the days go, and what we're all waiting for, what the market is basically waiting for, is to hear from the Feds about what the rate hikes are actually going to be. See, it's not about whether or not there's going to be a big hike or a small hike or no hike at all. Doesn't matter what's gonna happen. The problem is uncertainty, right? So uncertainty, when you don't know what's going to happen, everything falls apart. At the last Fed meeting, JP and everyone, they didn't really give an answer. They said they want to do some kind of hike, but they didn't give a number. Once you know the number, once you understand, okay, this is how much your rate is going to go up, or this is how we're going to deal with the issue of inflation and the issue of how we don't have enough chips or production issues because of borders not working out too well with China or any other country that might be developing a lot of the products. Once you figure out how you're going to solve the problem, it becomes easier to deal with it, right? So as we're approaching those days, some of the things that have been keeping the markets alive have been earnings. Yesterday, we got one contract on just the put. Now, usually when earnings are happening, so this is a Pfizer put, usually when earnings are happening, you can actually get a contract in both directions, get one contract on each direction. And let's say you got $1 contract on each direction, right? So that's $100 for that contract. If the put doesn't work out, let's say that stock just skyrocketed, it went up like $7 or $10, right? It went up a good like 15%, 30%. It can be anything massive like that. Then the puts are going to go to zero, so you lost the $100 there. But the calls are going to more than triple, right? So then that's where you're basically going to cut your losses and guaranteed to make profit. However, most times you won't be able to do that depending on how much money you're working with, because some of these contracts may be too expensive. Like the calls may be too expensive, but the puts are cheaper, or vice versa. Now, how do you figure out what you should be getting when these earnings are coming? Well, there's a lot of things to look at, right? Besides market sentiment, where people are saying this and that, which is basically stock twits. You want to look at where people are actually putting in money, right? Not just what people are saying, but where are people actually putting in money? You want to look at chart flows. You want to look at big flows on various Discord servers. You can actually find that. You can also check it on different websites, and you want to see where people are putting their money. Are people betting towards it definitely succeeding, or are people putting money on the stock sinking after earnings? And all the big flow yesterday was showing that Pfizer was going to be going down, and it was pretty clear that it would. And today, this morning, it's actually down quite a bit from where it was last night, right? So this is one of the consistent ways you want to play earnings. Earnings can be life-changing profits for people who try to, it's pretty much a lotto, because a company can have bad earnings, but it can skyrocket, and a company can have really good earnings and just sink. So there's a lot more involved there as well. For example, sometimes something that I've seen is if a stock has been coming down in value, right? It's just been sinking because maybe the market has been doing bad, stuff like that. But then that stock company is going to give good earnings, it's going to skyrocket. That was Amazon just last week, right? Amazon had been coming down from the 3,000 towards the 2,600 range, and it was almost about to hit 2,600. And then when they gave their earnings report, now Amazon's a great company, very successful company. I mean, they've got multiple sources of business, not just Amazon.com for buying products, but even Amazon Web Services, excuse me, um, and then multiple products for you at home like Alexa and stuff like that. So they have so many different sources of actually succeeding. When they gave their good news and they announced the fact that they're going to raise prices on Amazon Prime, they skyrocketed, and people that had calls, including myself, made a lot of money off of that, right? So now you don't want to go too hard on it, because again, there's no one knows anything for sure, right? Just because a lot of people put money into something on big flow doesn't mean that they were putting money on the right thing. They could all lose their money. So you would still want to be, managing your risk pretty effectively, and that's kind of what happens. Now, the other thing we picked up yesterday were FB puts, right? So you can see this morning, FB puts are still doing great, and it's time to close this out before things start recovering. So you got like 10 or something. I'm gonna get rid of all of those. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7. Okay, so let's get rid of those. All right, and how much is it at now? It's starting to come back up again? Wow, that's pretty quick. We can wait until it sinks a little more, I guess, now that the market just opened. But it's definitely starting to look like it's going to come back. Well, I did get two at this 25, so the average is pretty good. It's still a profitable trade. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And this is my small account. So this is the small account where I'm trying to grow it from a under 25K towards 25K. Right, so we took profits there. Pfizer, right here, I bought it at 82. It's at 91, so we can go ahead and close that out as well. I believe. Let me just check what Pfizer looks like right now. Check flew. Check did great on its earnings, so everyone's gonna be closing out on that. Pfizer's still pointing down, but I don't imagine it'll go much more. Yeah, see, it's starting to come back up actually. We want to go ahead and take profits on this. That's crazy. It actually recovered pretty well from its dip. So last night it was at $53. Now it's at 50.58. But the contract didn't really go that much more. So it's not really gonna. That's actually very shocking considering that I had bought puts and it did sink. It did sink. But it's a very sensitive contract too. It's like with little movements in Pfizer towards the upwards direction, it's actually recovering quite a big amount. So let's take a look at Pfizer because I might want to hold on to Pfizer. I feel like today it'll probably sink more. The whole idea of, yeah, it's breaking down. You can see one of the great things about using something like anything other than Robinhood is that you have really good analytical eyes on whatever app you're going to try out. You know, Pfizer is really trying to come back up, but I don't know. I might have to take the L on that, and that's why you only just get one. It's very shocking though, because it did dip. It did dip, but it doesn't feel like it dipped that much. These big red candles, I can't see it in that put value. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this out before it gets any worse. Yeah, let's just close that out. Yep. All right. Yeah, because it's starting to come back up, and that's kind of weird. And as we go into the day on our Discord, we've posted everything, right? So again, I've been talking about it a lot about how like you can work from home and you could be trading because there's enough information on here to do something throughout the day, right? Like we've got different breaks, right? You could set alarms. You could literally set alerts on TradingView or even Thinkorswim for something. If let's say you want to trade Nvidia today, and you can set an alert for Nvidia if it's going to break 244, it should alert you. You watch for it to break 245, and you get calls. If it hits 245 and doesn't make it, you start thinking of puts and you watch for it to break below 242. And you can do the same for any of these. And depending on what time of the day you're able to trade, you could check where all these guys are sitting at. Maybe you're free at like 3 p.m., right? And at 3 p.m., you can see FB is starting to finally break above 222. Then you pick up some calls, right? Stuff like that. And throughout the day, I give out more alerts and more alerts as the morning progresses, and that's where the success is hidden. All right, so good luck with your trading day today. I will see you guys next time on trading, and I'm going to try to do some updates later tonight as well on what's happening every single day.